All right. Hey, welcome. This is Michael. Welcome to another uh, Patreon session, YouTube session. So today we are going to be looking at a winter landscape. I'm kind of excited about this. Been thinking about winter uh, scenery because it's snowed the last little bit, and this was painted last year, so it's been a full year of not necessarily thinking about this particular painting, but I remember when I did it, I liked it, and I wanted to do something else with it. So today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to repaint it and hopefully add information to it and talk about what I was thinking as I was painting and while I was out on location, and hopefully you can kind of start to see what I was seeing as I was out there. So right now it may look like, um, it may look like pretty abstracted blobs of color, and you can get the sense that it's there's distance back there with the sun poking through, but for the most part you can't really tell what's going on up here, and so that's what we're going to do today. And so this is a breakaway from the series that we've been doing on painting in kind of a naturalistic inspired approach. If you're not familiar with that, be sure to check it out and go back and watch the episodes on Patreon. All right, so my palette. I have out on the palette, I have raw umber, ivory black, ultramarine blue, cobalt violet, magenta, burnt sienna. I think that's brilliant pink from Michael Harding. Yes, it is. Cat orange, cat yellow pale, and Viridian. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this off. For those of you who are not familiar with the Pochade palette, I have a magnet back there, but the Pochade palette is meant to be held like this. There's a spot for your brushes. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and use it as kind of a studio easel setup. I'm going to put this other panel here. So hopefully that doesn't wobble too much. If it does, this is a pretty heavy panel. I don't usually use dye bond when I use the Pochade palette, but it should be okay. All right, so what I wanted to kind of illustrate in this is which camera should I flip back and forth between? Maybe these two, palette and the all right, I'll leave it here for a second. Maybe I could zoom back so I can get everything. It's not bad. Let's see. Leave it there for a bit and see how it goes. Sorry, the names of the cameras are not. All right, I'll stay on this one for a bit until we get cranking, and then we can switch. So, this is here in New Salem, down the street from us, and this is an apple orchard. So you can see here, there's apple trees. This is a wall that was covered up with snow. And back here is the Quabbin Reservoir and the valley that um, it rests in. And then back further than that is the sun peeking through in the morning. So what was happening was there was this really, really kind of almost cooler light. I'm going to take some viridian and violet and cobalt blue and white. And establish some of this sky up here. Then the orange was breaking through and it was illuminating this section. So this is the distant clouds and back. Then there's some clouds that were close up. I'm going to take some black, ultramarine blue, raw umber, maybe some violet, cobalt blue, and kind of suggested that. So when I'm out there and I'm doing this from life, this was painted from life. I didn't take any reference, so I don't have anything to refer back to. But this would be kind of not exactly how I would paint, but definitely similar. I remember it was a kind of cold, obviously it's cold because it's snowing, but like a really crisp air. It was freezing. I only painted about 10 minutes on this. So let's go. I want to go to second. Sorry, I'll figure out the camera shots here in a second. No. All right. Okay, I don't want to rename the colors right now, so I'm just going to go back to... So this everything shot wide, okay. All right, stay on this for a bit. It's easier. I want to get a close-up for you guys, but I think it's easier for you to see what I'm mixing and yeah, watch what I'm mixing and I'll try to explain as I go. So when I'm out there, I'm reacting super quick to the setup. So I'd be thinking of this atmospheric sky that I'm going to paint back into. So first I want to set up kind of the main theme of the piece, and then I'll go back in and poke those lights that are busting through. So then the next step would be this distant horizon, which is the cobalt blue, a little bit of raw umber. I want to paint it over far enough so that these things, and also because this is a slower painting, it's a studio painting, it's slightly different than this. This I was really cranking and just didn't have much time at all. So I used raw umber and raw umber burnt sienna for this, for these trees that are closer to us. Ultramarine blue, raw umber, burnt sienna. Same up here. Clean out my brush slightly. You can use the same brush, or you can switch. It's up to you. Grab the burnt sienna, ultramarine blue, and put something down. So maybe some black. Try to see those shapes and understand how those shapes work together. Then I'm lessen the value because it's going up, so there's it also blends in with the paint that's um, up there, right? The wet paint above it. So if I were to go, let's say, this far, I probably would stop and I would have to indicate the orange, because it's just, if it's happening in front of you, you're not going to get that much time. And so I would grab some white, magenta, orange, maybe some cad yellow pale, and think about how the composition is going to be affected there. So that was busting through. So if I take some yellow and orange, let's see, maybe you can get a close up of the palette. So I blend from that over to here. I'll put in this stuff that was all right. Now, thus far, I really don't like this brushwork compared to that brushwork, but that's common when you're painting something in the studio versus from life, because from life I'm like reacting. It's very true to form. I'm super inspired by what I'm looking at. I'm just jotting down information. So now I'm trying to replicate that emotion, and it's just, of course, it's not going to be nearly as powerful, but we can continue to kind of try to return to that spirit. So I'm going to add some Viridian in the sky with a little bit of violet here, here, maybe a little bit of cad yellow. At a certain point, I'm going to have to stop thinking about this and then switch to actually trying to make this painting good regardless of what's happening up there. So probably would be a good idea, once I get kind of the composition down, then to take this down once I have enough information, take this down and then keep going with and I can switch the cameras. And so I'm going to grab some raw umber, ultramarine blue, yeah, see, that was just just completely different brush strokes up there, but I'm trying to kind of stick with the spirit right now. So this spot here, there's a little bit of a dark, those are the tree trunks of the apple trees. And back here, these darks that are back this way, those are just distant trees going back to the... So these in front here are much closer to us. And then maybe there was some clouds up on top. That's what I was hinting at with that. Then I can suggest that wall that was in there, add some violet. So these are further away. These are even further than these. So add some blue back to these here because those are even further back. So want to make sure to keep getting that gradation all the way back into the distant hills. All right, so I'm going to take this down. You get the feeling of how this stuff relates and connects to the top one. So I'm going to take this down so I'm not obsessing over it. So we have the shot of the palette. Okay, close up of this. I'm going to move this up slightly. It's not the greatest shot. I don't know why. I don't know what's going on with my camera. It's too dark, maybe. All right, so now looking at this as a painting on its own, first I want to try to, I'm going to just put this away back here. All right. So I'm going to take some white, cat orange, the pink. You see that there? It's like pretty thick. I'm going to go back to this and try to drag it. That here the shape of this is, I don't really love it, so I'm going to take some blue, try to redraw that. Cleaning my brush each time so that I'm not contaminating what's around it. Let's see, maybe you can get both. Now if I can lift up that color all the way down to the panel and replace it with just a pure orange, should start to glow a little bit more because the mixture, it'll be like almost like a glaze on the white panel underneath. It's kind of hard to see from, maybe that's a better angle, I can't tell. I'm taking turpentine, my paper towel, and just going in and trying to get just that, kind of that glow back there, because that's like, that's the moment in the painting that I was just fascinated by. I'm going to drop down some of this blue back here, because that as well, that intense color back there was, so I used blue and violet It's the far distant hills. And those are, I would say, a couple miles away. I don't have an exact number for you, but I would say maybe my guess is, I want to say like 5 to 10 miles away, but I don't know. But if you can, in your head, you can start to imagine the distance. That's good, because then chances are you'll paint it better. Yeah, see, that camera's just not as good. It seems like the palette has a little bit better angle. So that's kind of cool. I like that. That is looking good. I don't know, maybe if I take some if I were to maybe that's a little bit dark. And then there's going to be some warmth over here. All right. So far, so good. Let's see. Just making sure everything was okay with the stream. All right. So now, the trees. I'm just gonna take some brown raw umber and go back in and kind of slowly try to create some different shapes. Lots of ultramarine blue and burnt sienna. Put the trunk in and come in and put the foliage. You can take the color for the sky and go in here and add some variety there too. Over here in my sketch I didn't have it, but there's more trees over here. Just from knowing the area, I know that there's more trees there, so I'll create a few more trunks going up. And then try not to be too kind of Bob Rossy about it, but that technique kind of works sometimes. Go back and forth trying to build up the trees, the shapes, textures. I want to put a little bit more of that orange back there. I think just for composition it would be nice to have the secondary note of orange kind of creeping back there. This is all so far I've been using Gamsol. Just a hint of orange back there. I've been using Gamsol on the straight paint. Then the wall comes here. These are the rock wall for the perspective. The snow. Over here, maybe add a few different kinds of trees over here. I don't know what exactly, but I don't want to repeat. So that goes down. Soften some of those edges. And then over here, remember these are where the trees were. The apple trees. Now, let's see. So I have a blotch of red there. I have some orange burnt sienna stuff there that I want to get rid of. So I'm going to grab some cobalt blue and just try to darken that section down. And the reason why I wanted to get rid of it is because it just felt like it's not helping me. I take some black and blue. And I want to continue to try to put those trees in. Again, no reference here, just kind of winging it based off of what I remember, what I liked about they went all the way back. So what's going on over here? Maybe this is darker. And so that's there. If I grab some black and white, a little bit of Viridian, some more black or some more white. I just need something other than the white canvas. 'Cause it's a dark, like when you get that bright spot there, you want to try to make sure that everything in the painting, all the values are kind of working to support that moment. Let me put this down here. So let's see, let's reintroduce, I'll grab this other painting. Oops. Okay. Now, going back and forth, looking at them. So the first thing I notice is that the sky has gotten too kind of simplified as this um, mass of a cool color on top. So I'm going to add some orange and white. I actually like that breaking through here. Something about the variation. I don't know exactly what that would be doing, but if it was a gut reaction that was somehow hinting at something real, I think that that definitely helps then balance that cooler color. That hill going up, looks like there's some spots back here maybe that I could emphasize. And then just the diagonal. So everything else kind of, oh, maybe this dark back here. Okay. That, one more. Maybe some of this cloud up here in the dark that comes in front. That helps create dimension. That light back here. Hopefully you guys are following me on this. I know it's probably sounds ridiculous hearing me go step by step, but I wanted to do something different. All right, grab the orange note there. And then maybe a little bit more of the white and orange. Okay, take this back down. Zoom in on this. How long are we gone? Half hour. So see, that one was done about 10 minutes from life, and this is now a half hour in. And I would be fine, calling this a study as well, but everyone always wants to see how to push something further. So I'm gonna try to paint in these apple trees. I remember you can see it in the sketch, but there was a foreground element here that was coming up, and I probably won't do as much, but maybe I'll play around with it a little bit and see if, because I have a little bit more time, that I can introduce just a couple of these kind of darker notes that were I still think that blue in the sky is too blue. So I'm gonna go back to the sky. See if I can get the proper harmony. Something's weird. I wanna see if I can make this a little bit more rich. Rather than just going in and dulling that down, I'm going to try to make this more chromatic first. Let's see. I got the camera like right on top of me here. All right. That's the camera shot, and this is the palette and painting. Maybe I could just talk quickly about like some of my palette. You can see how nice and organized it is. I hate to kind of, you know, pat myself on the back, but I'm going to anyway. So throughout the distant colors, you know, I have those chromatic blues and violets, and you can see here just how, like, as I creep up to the cobalt blue, cobalt violet, it gets most intense. But then as I come down to the main section and I was mixing the blues and the browns and keeping these gray notes, that's all that, like, again, if you think about a piano, and like as it gets to the left it gets deeper, and as it goes to the right it gets higher in sound. Then up here, this is what I'm thinking about, as these deeper notes occur, then that really high pitch, the very top note, whatever it would be, that's the kind of moment where that's the expanse or the limitations of my scale. A really high note and a deep, darker note, the blues and the burnt siennas. And so when I grab those and I'm outside and I'm painting, it's a similar thing. I have it in my hand, you know, hold it like this. Just take this off the... This is not a commercial. I invented this for a reason, so you take this off. So I'm holding it in my hand, mixing the notes, and painting this way, and then the brushes go in the back. Well, wherever my pocket is here, the brushes go in the back, so it's super convenient, and I can be cruising, grabbing my brushes, switching out the brushes, etc. Right? So there's this pocket in back. I don't know if you can see it, but so that's the setup. That's my palette, the colors I'm using. I just put it on this ledge here for now. What else could I talk about? But I'm really pretty happy with that as a little sketch, as a painting that documents the moment that you got to see kind of a replay of how I did it. Maybe I could address some of these. There probably should be some paint on the rocks. I mean, some light on the rocks there, because if it's... Sorry, I'm not making sense. From the field, they take the rocks and they make a wall. The wall is covered with snow, and I've indicated at the wall. So the piled up rocks that create the wall are covered with snow, and you should probably indicate that there's some snow on top to show exactly what I'm hinting at. And then there was this kind of foreground element that I was talking about that could be maybe further developed. And I'll grab some green, blues over here. Maybe that's too dark. Get some of those greens and oranges to bounce off the snow. And that's kind of what I wanted to say. Maybe I could take the distant just change the shape of that so there's some variation. Um, Take some snow, my white here, pile it on top of the trees. If it doesn't work, pull it back. You can always test it, you know. I don't think I'll ruin the painting at this point. All right. So we're 45 minutes in. I'm gonna go ahead and call it a painting, a demo. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're interested in other demos, check out Patreon, Pochade Palette Patreon. Have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to everybody. Till next time.